evening. This is the 18 WJTS News. I'm Charlotte Olson. A father-son duo were arrested earlier this morning following a car chase and attack. Jasper police reported that 46-year-old Travis Carnes of Lagodi and his son, 21-year-old Brandon Carnes of Odin, rammed and attacked a fellow driver in front of an O'Reilly's auto parts store in the area of 2nd Street and US 231 here in Jasper. Police report that just before 2 a.m. this morning, a call came in advising police that a vehicle was chasing another vehicle in the area of Hucks at the Y in Jasper. After an investigation, police learned that a vehicle driven by 46-year-old Travis Carnes and occupied by Brandon Carnes as a passenger rammed another vehicle several times, and that after the vehicle had become disabled on the side of US 231 in front of O'Reilly's, the Carnes father-son pair assaulted a male victim in the stalled vehicle. They attacked the male victim with wooden and metal clubs, and the victim was reported to have received minor injuries and refused EMS. Jasper police located marijuana, meth, several pills, which were scheduled for substances, and also located paraphernalia. Assisting Jasper police was the Indiana State Police and the DuBois County Sheriff's Department. Jasper police continue to be busy on Wednesday night as they arrested a Jasper man after a report of battery. At 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 25-year-old Alex Wagner was placed under arrest at the Manor Drive Apartments after police received a report from a neighbor stating that they thought a battery was in process. When police arrived, they could also hear arguing, and officers made contact with Wagner, who was not at the residence of his residence, and a female who does reside at that residence. Officers determined that 25-year-old Wagner had battered, strangled, and confined the female and would not leave the home. He was arrested and transported to the DuBois County Security Center, where he was booked on preliminary charges of battery, strangulation, criminal confinement, and also on disorderly conduct. Jasper City School Council heard from Andy Seger, president of the Jasper Economic Development Commission, on possible updates to the property tax amendment ordinance. Among the possible updates will be the change to one form for all applicants and the balancing of the point system. The proposal would keep infrastructure at 10 points, lower jobs and wages to 25 points per both categories, and raise dollars of investment to 40 points. The timeline for amendment for real property will remain at 10 years, while personal property will shorten to 5 years. The discussion amongst the council was supportive of the suggestions, with the only concerns being vocalized with the issue heard from voters about whether too much is being given away. Andy Seger stated at the meeting that voices are being heard, and for that criteria for categories are also being set high.
I think we are setting the bar high, okay? For instance, before, in order to earn 5 points on new employment wage level, the starting wage had to be $10.15 or greater per hour. We've now increased that by roughly 30% to $13.05, 180% of state minimum wage. That's where we're starting, okay? So I think we have taken that feedback that you're hearing from your constituents to heart, and I think some of that is showing up in some of what we've done within the ranges, to incent the things we want to see. We want to see higher paying jobs, right? We want to see higher retained positions. We want to see new employment. We want to see larger dollars of investment.
Higher wages is seen as a big need for the city in order to stay competitive with not just surrounding areas, but with the country. To get the full 25 points on wages, the average wage for new jobs is set at $29 per an hour, and applicants for retained jobs only are eligible for points in wages. For the jobs category, a full 25 points requires at least 200 jobs to get full points, and 25 jobs on the low end for 5 points. Real property is set with $500,000 on the low end point scale to $10 million in order to get full points. And personal property is set at $100,000 on the low end and $2 million for full points and investments. The program has been in effect since 2011, and that in the same city has seen $82 million in investments and 437 new jobs created. The council took the suggested adjustments and advisement to be reviewed and decided upon at a later meeting. The number of rural roadways that have been closed down in DuBois County thanks to the recent rainfall has doubled in the last 24 hours. The DuBois County Highway Department says that high water due to those rains has now resulted in the closure of 6 roads across our county. Roads closed since Wednesday include County Road 400 South east of US 231, Old Road 64 west of Patoka Road, and 1st Street Huntingburg west of County Road 75 west. The number of rural roadways across the county is expected to rise over the next several days, to say the least, with more and more rainfall being expected through the early part of the weekend. For a complete listing of DuBois County roads that are closed, you can visit our webpage at WJTS.tv or on our Facebook page. And speaking of flooding, much of the state now in the midst of a prolonged rain event, the Indiana Department of Homeland Security says that Hoosier homeowners, renters, businesses, and private nonprofit organizations that may or already have sustained uninsured damage caused by severe storms and flooding, starting on or after February the 15th, can report damage. Hoosiers can report and visit the online site, and information can be gathered from citizens does help to assist county and state agencies in determining the scope of damage. State or federal assistance will also be available for recovery efforts. A link to the form is also available on the Indiana Department of Homeland Security website at dhs.in.gov.in. The middle of the page under Feature Topics, click on Heavy Rain and Flooding, February the 15th, 2018 and continuing. Individuals will be asked to provide their name, address, phone number, and type of damage that their property has sustained. Losses can include structural damage to homes and also loss of personal property. Democrats objected to a proposal approved by an Indiana Senate committee on Wednesday that would eliminate fees and make changes to the handgun licensing process, suggesting that it was the wrong time to loosen gun laws in the wake of Florida high school shooting. The bill is backed by gun rights enthusiasts who argue restrictions like licensing fees infringe on their Second Amendment rights. But it has been significantly watered down from an initial proposal, which would have eliminated the need for obtaining a handgun license. The measure previously sailed through the House, but Democratic Senator Tim Lannon of Anderson said that everything has changed since 17 people were killed at the school in Parkland, Florida. The bill in its current form would not only eliminate fees charged for a lifetime handgun license, it would also extend Indiana's 4-year handgun license to 5 years. That would enable those with such a license to qualify for federal exemption, allowing them to undergo only one background check per period, regardless of how many handguns they purchase. This is a practice more than 24 other states have already adopted. Those holding a lifetime handgun license, however, would still have to undergo background checks for each purchase. While Republicans on Indiana's Senate Judiciary Committee said the protests following the Florida shooting gave them pause, they opted to vote 7-3 in favor of the bill. If you're excited about your pet and love comedy, then the DuBois County Humane Society has planned the perfect event for you as they present the second annual Raise the Wolf at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Friday the 23rd, at the Jasper Middle School Auditorium. The stand-up comedy event works with animal shelters and rescue groups to raise much-needed funds. The fun-filled show offers strong branding matched with quality performances by entertainers in the lineup. The cost is $15 per person, and these tickets will be available at the DuBois County Humane Society and Hettinger Beverage Distributing in Jasper, or they can be purchased at the door. The show is recommended for those ages 16 or older. Light snacks and refreshments will also be available for purchase. All proceeds will benefit the shelter's Vet Care Fund. A convicted Vanderburgh County rapist is set to be executed in Florida tonight. Eric Branch of Rockport was 20 years old when he raped a young girl in October of '91. Then in September of '92, he fled to Florida after being convicted by the Vanderburgh County Court in the rape case. On January 11th, Branch murdered University of West Florida student Suzanne Morris. The same year, Branch was found guilty and sentenced to death for the murder. He is sentenced to be executed tonight at the Florida State Prison. And make sure you keep it right here, because up next we're going to take a look at your weather summary.